Yeah. Brian Geary went to Iowa. Ohgren has an NHL shot and will be a top 6 forward next season. We're going to follow that up with the fun one from, let's see here, from Ron. Why hasn't Liam Ohgren replaced Johansson on the second line?
Yeah, well, first of all, Ogren's just been an absolute stud since it was like firmly like sent down there and like go play a lot of hockey, go play top 6 minutes, stay in Iowa instead of being called up here, playing maybe 4 minutes, maybe watching a game or two in the press box and then playing 3 minutes the next night. Since then, he has been on fire. He's got 10 and 10 now. At one point, he was looking like the Cy Young leader in the AHL. I think he had like 8 goals, 1 assist. He's really evened that out. He had 3 assists the other night in their like the one win they have in the last 10 games. Put up 3 apples in that one. But he's been fucking phenomenal. And I think he's playing like almost 20 minutes a night too as a forward, which is always good, obviously. But yeah, I think next year the easy plug-in is like put him in Johansson's spot. I would say like we still don't even know if he's ready for top 6 minutes right now. Like, I mean, we've seen flashes in the 3 games he played last year. I think they were playing like the Sharks and like some other dog shit teams like at the end of the year when it was like there's 5 games left in the season. So we don't know if he's like realistically ready for that full-time spot right now. And again, like Johansson, like the points have been like he had like what, like a good 10 game stretch. He was putting up points with like 8 of those 10. And then recently he's just been doing the thing where he like misses some wide open chances. But all in all, like I still think he's played relatively well this season. It's just obviously you want to see the fucking puck go in the net, which is always going to be like, all right, like fucking where do we draw the line here? But yeah, he's been. But I think Ohgren right now, yeah, probably safer to just let him cook in the AHL and come in the next year, like with that top 6 spot open.
So is it? Someone asked this in the chat off of a video from last week on YouTube, and my response was basically, if there are enough injuries to like top 6 type guys that Ohgren gets the call up and shows like you can't send him back down, that's really the only way that we see him this year. Like I want him finishing the year in Iowa, dominate down there, get some confidence, play the role you need to play. Because let's be real, the real reason he's not being called up, like you can say dollars, but it is deployment, right? They don't want to force him into a top 6 spot, especially when we don't have the cast that you'd want him playing with. It's not going to be as beneficial as everyone thinks.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like you said, like even if they weren't in this ridiculous injury / cap situation that they're in, like even so, if they had all the space in the world, they could like they had the freedom to like let guys go up and down. Right now, he's in a better spot than he would have been like trying to get 4th line, 3rd line minutes, maybe. Like go let him play 18 to 20 in the A. He's gonna be on that first power play unit. He's their go-to goal scorer. Like, and I mean, he's also playing really good 2-way hockey too. Like he's all over the ice. So like, I mean, it's just going to be more growth in his game, letting him get all those top minutes and be on the ice in big time situations. So I think he's in the right spot right now. And then, we'll see what happens next season.
All right. So there's other guys that definitely weren't talking about, but let's go this route. Are we going to start with risers or fallers? Do we want to talk about the guys that you're like high on in Iowa or the guys that you're concerned with? Because we're going to cover both, and then we're getting the hell out of here because we got the Vikings here to disappoint us.
Love that. I mean, like for a riser, again, like he's been a riser probably all year, but like Hunter Haight still looks so good down there. He's got 9 and 9 now. Even like he hasn't really had a slump, really. Like he's hasn't really gone. He's like one of the few guys that hasn't gone like 4 or 5 games where like not only is he not putting up points, but he just like is invisible. Like he's noticeable every game.
So position this though for the fans that don't watch the Iowa Wild, right? Based on how he's played, how do you project him? Like where does he fit in an NHL lineup for the Minnesota Wild?
You're probably looking at like, I mean, realistically, talent wise and
Middle six
ability,
wing?
he's a high skill guy. Yeah, middle six wing. I don't think he's going to be a center at the NHL level. I mean, especially given the size and how like light he is. And I mean, he's not afraid of contact, but I mean, he still is susceptible to get like he can in the NHL. He will probably, if he plays the middle of the ice, it's going to be tough. But I mean, even this year, still like even saying that, there have been a lot. He looked really good playing in between Ohgren and Graham Clark. Like he's been really, really good pretty much every game. Like again, I haven't really had one viewing where I'm like, I forgot Haight was on the team. Like which can't really say that about many of fucking the guys at Iowa right now.
Yeah,
he's just looked really good, and the fact that he's not just like scoring goals, he's like assisting, and I mean, he's there's plenty of points out there that he hasn't got just because like whatever, someone misses a tap and someone like whatever gets robbed. But if he gets bigger and stronger, like, or at least just stronger, like forget bigger, but like, yeah, you're looking at like a decent middle six, like decent scoring winger probably. Yeah, he's a righty. 4x4.
Phrase onto the bit. He's a righty. 4x4 NMC.
Billy G special baby. But him and Ohgren.
Hang on, I need to ask people. Comment whether it's live here on this stream or after the fact. If you would buy a shirt or a hat that says 4x4 NMC, you need to let us know because we will make it in a heartbeat if we know the demand's out there for it.
Exactly. Dude, but him and Ohgren playing together is so much fun. And
but that's
I mean,
the
like,
problem because they're not going to play together in the NHL because Ogren's already penned in with Goldie and Eck because you ordained it so the second he was drafted.
I'm not. It was the first. I was like, this is going to be beautiful. This is going to be amazing. But like watch them together, like play, and like this is like when we used to watch this. Obviously, like a step down, but like when Rossi and Boldy that one year were together down there, holy shit, they were unbelievable, and that's when they were like as a team, even though they weren't necessarily winning many games, they were putting up a ton of goals, and those two together were phenomenal. So much fun. But yeah, no, Hunter Haight's been really good all year, and like he's been consistent, which is like impressive. I was wondering what he would like, how he would adjust to the AHL, because I mean, like you saw so many shifts in the OHL where it was like, yeah, he's putting up some decent points. He plays pretty good two-way hockey for like a guy that's like known as like a really high-end offensive guy. But like a lot of his points are coming from like perimeter play or whatever. But like he is playing really well in the middle of the ice and like not having a problem. But if he can get bigger and stronger, yeah, he can play some shifts at center if you need him to. But like realistically, probably a scoring winger in the middle six.
Well, dress the Sota Pod here, Z. Mikey Milne has been fun.
He again, another guy that's just been awesome all year long. I think he was on a bit of a cold streak as half of Iowa was like called up, ready to go or injured. But he looks good again. I think what's he got now? He's half a point per game, 15 points in 30 games. And again, like for an undersized guy, he is such a fucking prick to play against. And I say it like the fact that he doesn't go a single shift without chirping half of the other team is so funny to me. Like he has the puck and he's yelling at people. I'm like, this guy fucking rules. And I really wish, but that the game that he got in Minnesota, I think he played like fucking 4 minutes. I'm like, come on, like a little bit more, just like more than give him 5, maybe 6. But he just looks like a really good two-way bottom 6 winger. Like can give you a little bit of everything. Like again, like kind of like a Connor Dewar-esque player, but probably even more like mean and just nonstop chirping. I love Mikey Milne. He's so fun. Great fits too. Dresses are great.
Yes, and now that the trade was consummated to bring in one David Jiricek, we have Mikey Milne as the incumbent for best dressed because it was Damon Hunt like running away.
Oh yeah,
prior.
Everyone
that hasn't watched it, you got to go check the channel. Like, just go search Lambos superlatives. Carson Lambos with Joe Smith and I went through superlatives for all the Iowa Wild players last season, and it was actually pretty funny. He literally calls himself homeless. So I'm a Lambos guy through and through. I love him. All right. Talked about some of the guys that we're happy about. Is there anyone that you're worried about? Or you're making a weird face like I should stop because there's someone else you're really excited about?
Well, there was one of the other guys that started. It was not. It looked. I think he had like no. I think he maybe had 1 point in the first 10 games, maybe. But Caden Bankier has turned it on right now too. Like he's looked.
I
really
love
good.
that guy.
He's got plenty of points. I think he's got points in like 6 of his last 7 games. I want to say.
If we had to rank the Iowa guys for like who just loves the boys, loves going to the rink, is a hockey guy through and through, Caden Bankier is getting like 3 of the top 5 picks.
Oh yeah, he
rocks.
He is. He's so funny, dude.
Tell me,
he's the guy that has a smile on his face 24/7.
3 years from now, 2 of these 3 players will be our bottom 6 centers. And those names are Caden Bankier, Charlie Stramel, Murat Huznadinov. Are those 3 battling for the bottom 6 center positions? 3 years from now, again, roughly, project out, whatever.
I mean, I would. Huznadinov is penciled in, but both Stramel and Bankier can play on the wing too. Like that's the thing. Like Bankier's played just as much wing as center. So like that's the and same thing with
How
like
about those 3-year-old line.
That would be fun. Like,
I'd sign up for it.
Stramel, the fucking maniac. Bankier, big, goofy, half a maniac sometimes. And Huznadinov just like laughing because he wins a face-off and people are cheering for him. But the thing with Bankier too, especially like lately, given with like now that we've seen him like finally take off as far as like putting up points that he was putting up before, like he's playing with Toporowski a lot now, and that's what he played with him in Kamloops for that when Toporowski got traded to Kamloops.
Yep.
So he's been playing with him a lot, and they look really good together. Toporowski is fascinating to me. Like, was a beast in the WHL as an overager, or not even like the year before that, and then he didn't get drafted, and then his last year, the dub, he went off with Kamloops. Then he goes and played like Boston signed him, ripped apart Providence, like was just a sniper. Like he could score goals. It's just like he might be one of those guys that's just like a permanent tweener or whatever. Because like I mean, he plays fucking phenomenal when he's on. But him and Bankier together, looking like their old WHL line, it's been really fun. They used to play a lot with like Stankoven too. It was very fun to watch.
Yeah, we asked him about him. He's like, yeah, that guy's just different.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was literally a 1-minute clip of him just being like, that guy fucking rocks.
He's the best, dude.
No, Bankier is probably the happiest interview we've had, and Hunter Haight's the only one that I thought was like eyeing me up, like, I'm gonna fucking beat the shit out of you, dude. I'm better than you. I know it.
Oh, yeah,
compliment. That's not a dig. I'm just like he
as
was
he
the
should.
most, like, confident guy for sure. Whereas Riley Haight was like the most like humbly confident.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to come out and say it, but like you could read subtextually. All right, so talk about give me anywhere from 1 to 3 guys that you expected more from, or that have just fallen off, or something's changed with their game, whatever. Like, who are 3 guys that we need to watch and we're really hoping have a better second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the common one that you hear all the time is a guy like Ryan O'Rourke. I still have a soft spot for this kid because, like, I mean, watching him in the OHL was so much fun. I mean, he was putting up like 70 points, 135 penalty minutes. Like, he was playing 30 minutes a night. Like, he was doing literally everything for Sault Ste. Marie, not just when they were like one of the best OHL teams that we've ever seen, but like even when they were like just terrible. He was their captain and everything like that. He has been asked to play some of the toughest fucking AHL minutes I've ever seen. And it is like, he's another guy that plays a lot with, like, him and Lambos both play a lot with spot check. And I mean, spot check is just running wild. But I mean, like, I would say O'Rourke is probably playing 23, 24, 25 minutes. And like 20 of those minutes are in the D zone on Iowa. And it's like, I always have a tough time gauging like what to take away from those minutes. Cause I mean, you still see plenty of times where he is just playing well, like defending hard. I mean, he's a fucking beast to play against too. He's strong. He's got decent size, but like it's just one of those situations where it's like the COVID year when there was no OHL hockey and he came up and played a full season in the AHL as a fucking 18-year-old, he was incredible. Like, he looked fucking phenomenal. I think he played like 20, 30 games. And he was playing like as the like number 4, like didn't really need to be playing a whole lot of offense, but just looked like beyond fit in, like he was on their first PK unit. But again, like his points are never going to jump off the page, especially in Iowa. Like I don't think he might have a total of like 47 seconds on the power play, and that's when he like jumps over and there's like 3 seconds left, and it's like, all right, he's just accumulating those minutes where he's the first guy up after the power play ends. But I mean, I don't know. It's like you still, and like that's when I get like annoyed when I hear, I guess, like whatever, like when Russo and LaPanta talk about like Iowa, and like something like O'Rourke comes up and like he's just not been good. I'm like, come on. I know that you motherfuckers aren't watching Ryan O'Rourke every night. But I mean, again, like I would still like to see a little bit more, but I also just will always have a soft spot for that kid. And he is playing, I mean, just one of the tougher roles as like a top 4 D-man in the AHL. Like it is, they are under siege. It is crazy. But I mean, again, you would probably still like to see a little bit more, even though he's not really given a whole lot of leeway offensively. And then another guy that I have questions about is like Jack Peart. Like he just hasn't really found a spot for himself. Like he hasn't really he plays like 21 games, 22, 23 games. Maybe 21. I think he has like 1 assist.
Swanee, Swimming, Slappy, Slippy, Swanson.
Anemone.
All right, that was a big pivot. I like it.
Yeah, big pivot. But I mean, it's just like I don't think he's really found. I think he's struggled to figure out like what his role is going to be playing pro hockey. And I've always like we've talked about that too with him, where it's just like St. Cloud year 1 was like some good as far as points go, playing for a St. Cloud as a true freshman. Then year 2, he was a beast. Year 3, it was like, I have no idea. Like it is all over the place. And then since then, like he signs, and I just think he hasn't really found or figured out what role he can really play in pro hockey. And again, not a fun place to do that. In Iowa, that's my big underlying thing in Iowa. It's like it is a tough spot to be fucking trying to develop. Like when you have this many young D-men who are like, you're needing them in order for them to play like legit minutes. They're doing something completely opposite of like the player that they were drafted to be. You know what I mean? Like they're just asked to play such a different role than they historically have been playing. But it's like it's not just one guy; it's like half of your decor. So it's like it's tough. Like that's why I never know how to really gauge those minutes for them.
So you're saying a veteran, like guy that's probably traditionally more of like a 7 or 8 NHL defenseman. If he was in Iowa, that could really help this young group.
You could say that.
I don't have any specific names in mind for the Wild, but
like in years past, it's been like Turner Ottenbright who was out there like beat the shit out of people, and it's like okay, I guess it's like who was it? Oh yeah, it's like the same thing. Like the guys that they've had to pair up with those young demons, it's like okay, I mean, it's the right idea, but that got like it was like Beckman playing with fucking like Cody McLeod. It was like he was like he's an NHL, he's gonna give him space. Like you don't put him on the ice to play any offense. Like at no point is he gonna touch the fucking puck. Like he's never touching the puck. Like that's not what we're looking for here.
Yeah.
It's just been tough down there. Like it's crazy. At one point, like I remember there were a few games, especially last year, was like all six D-men that they had out there had been drafted in the last 3 years. I was like, holy shit. Like, this is beyond the youth move. It's like, we have nothing else. Like, fuck it. Guys, fuck it. I don't know. Just go. And it was like, make it up as we go. So it's just a weird, it's the last 3 years, really. It's been tough to gauge, like, how, like, it's always tough to gauge, like, how much I should be taking away from some of their minutes. But those are 2 guys specifically I want to tell you.
Should the Wild be sending one of their young defensemen to bring in a guy like Aaron Ness, who is an AHL veteran, has played well everywhere he's been, and he is a Minnesota legend?
Yeah.
Do you even know who that is?
Yeah. I don't. He was in, is he not?
He's been a lot of places.
I know he was in Providence for a while. Or briefly. Who knows?
Time's a flat circle. I think Aaron Ness to the Iowa Wild would be fantastic.
Oh, is he in oh, he's not gonna he's happy where he's been in Hershey for a while.
Yeah.
That's a great AHL spot. Holy fuck. They're just like every year you're probably gonna win. And like he's their captain right now too. Yeah. Okay.
That's why you trade for him.